Thank you very much for joining us. In Massachusetts, public education is really at a crossroads. Do we resume the progress we made over 3 decades of education reform or get bogged down in contentious labor issues and curriculum disputes? Well, here to talk about that is the state's Secretary of Education, Pat Tutwiler. He's the former superintendent of the Lynn Public Schools. He was a headmaster in the Boston Public Schools, and he joins us here this morning. Mr. Secretary, welcome. Good to have you here.
Call me Pat.
Okay, Pat, you got it. Call me John.
Will do.
So Brockton, a blue-collar city with issues not unlike the ones you dealt with in Lynn, is in trouble. Apparent financial mismanagement has resulted in budget cuts that have impacted student safety to the point where 4 members of the school committee asked Governor Healey to send in the National Guard. Just the other night, a special meeting to discuss their problems ended abruptly amid public squabbling between the superintendent and the mayor. Is Brockton a candidate for state takeover?
Not at this point. What I would say is you have a perfect storm of challenges that lead to the kinds of issues that we see happening at Brockton High School. You've got some instability in leadership. You've got some challenges financially, and that has sort of opened up to culture challenges at the high school that we're seeing in really real ways, particularly before February break. What I would say is right now you've got a strong leader at the high school, strong principal. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has stepped in and provided supports in the finance space. They were already offering supports in terms of curriculum and instruction. And so I would say while they are struggling right now, there is a path forward. Is
takeover a possibility?
Not at this point.
Let's talk a little bit more broadly about the situation with literacy education. In the wake of sort of alarmingly poor literacy test scores across the state, there's a bill in the legislature that would give you the authority to impose new rules about literacy education, pushing districts to drop failed literacy curriculum and replace it with often phonics-based techniques that we know do work. But in places like Winchester and Lexington, they're dragging their feet. The super in Lexington, a former superintendent of the year, wrote a letter recently opposing that bill that parroted the position of the teachers' unions. She said, quote, "We think it's best to leave educational decisions to local educators who understand the needs of their students," end quote. In other words, Beacon Hill, butt out. What's your response to her?
So first, I have incredible respect for that superintendent. I know her, and I've had an opportunity to visit that district. What I would say is the governor is putting forth a very robust plan to address literacy challenges across the state. This is called Literacy Launch. It's a $30 million endeavor and the first of a multi-year effort to make sure that districts have the access to evidence-based, high-quality instructional materials, as well as the professional development that we know moves the needle for our youngest learners in reading. I'd also say that there's a push to make a systemic change in Massachusetts, and this actually started back in 2019. This starts with making sure that teachers are trained in the evidence-based strategies and moves forward with offering opportunities for districts to shift. This has been a shift if you want to sort of effort thus far, and certainly the governor's proposal is an extension of that, a very robust extension of that. The conversation at the legislature right now is a robust one, and what I would say is the debate around literacy is a long-standing one, but the evidence is undeniable. There is a best practice, there is a best way, and this is where we are.
But people in power like this superintendent in Lexington are denying it.
They are, and what I'm hearing in that argument is more about the principle of control rather than the substance of the particular strategy that we're talking about. And so, in as much as I would say that local control is important, the ability to select what you would like in a town or municipality, those are important, but we're at a place now where we understand a strategy that works, and we want to see that happen in every district.
Yeah, and control is certainly not more important than producing third graders who are literate, because we know from the research that if they don't get it by then, they're headed for trouble, correct?
That is absolutely true. The research overwhelmingly agrees that if a student's not reading proficiently by grade 3, they still can get there in later grades, but it's much harder to achieve.